Yes, let's go, boys. Let's go. The Phillies, get a two-game win streak on their hands right now at the New York Mets. They win this game by a score of 7-5 after coming off that seven-game losing streak. They win the first two games out of this Mets series, and it's a really good feeling right now with this Phillies ball club because it just feels like we're starting to get those timely hits back again, and the bullpen is starting to step up when our starting pitching is having a struggling outing like Jake Arrieta had. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for Jake Arrieta because he just didn't look good tonight. He sucked. And it just looked like the Mets were getting into his head and they were driving in runs early, and it just felt like they got into Jake Arrieta's head a little bit. And he was starting to hang the ball over the middle of the plate a little bit, and that came back to haunt him. So, but off of Jake Arrieta, the Phillies got the timely hits when they needed to late in this ball game, and same thing with the bullpen. They came in after Jake Arrieta struggled, and they shut the door down, even though they got into some jams of their own. But they managed to get out of those jams without allowing a run. And it's a really good sign to see the Phillies start to get their mojo back right now after that really frustrating stretch of not winning and really scoring little few runs a game, and their pitching coming up with big time plays, but the offense just not stepping up for them, or the bullpen just came in and shit the bed really. So it's really good to see the Phillies start to get their mojo back right now with the offense and the bullpen, right, which is a really good sign. Maybe the bamboo plant's helping a little bit. Who knows? Brad Miller, he brought another gigantic bamboo plant in for the entire clubhouse this time. So maybe that bamboo plant is going to stay there the rest of the season. Maybe we'll get a big win streak on our hands. Maybe we'll go to the World Series. Stretching it a little bit. They're not probably not going to do that, but hey, it's good to hope with this bamboo plant, right? Right? So, I'm not really a superstitious guy, but it's good for the players to think positively about this bamboo plant affecting their play, just making them play better. It's good to be in that good mentality because just remaining positive, you'll go out there and have a good night. Just get the negative thoughts out of your mind, have something positive on your mind going into a ball game, and you should do fine without all those negative thoughts going on in your head. So, like I said, Jake Arrieta didn't have that good night. The bamboo plant didn't really help him there. Funny on that. But yeah, Jake Arrieta only goes 5 innings. Now he actually goes 6 innings. He allows 9 hits, 5 earned runs, and he only strikes out two. And he gets up 2 home runs in the second and third inning. Yeah, he just didn't look like he had it tonight. And in the top of the first inning, they got to him a little bit early. The Mets did, and they drive in 2 runs on a Cano single and a Conforto sac fly, and it just looked like Jake Arrieta, he was getting the ground balls, but the Mets were just finding the open holes in the defense, and they were able to score on those plays. And it just looked like what I said earlier. They got into Jake Arrieta's head a little bit. But in the Phillies' bottom half of the first inning, they get a home run off of Scott Kingery in the leadoff position, which is a really good sign for Scott Kingery because last night he looked really good in that leadoff position. He went 3 for 6 last night. He goes 1 for 4 today, not but he gets that leadoff home run, and it's really good to see Scott Kingery be in this leadoff position because I think it's a perfect fit for him, to where he only has to worry about getting on base for people, and just getting in the scoring position for them. Yeah, you can hit the home runs here and there. That is also nice, but it's just Scott Kingery has been one of our more consistent hitters in the lineup, so putting him in that leadoff position probably will suit him better just to get on base and get in the scoring position for people to drive him in to home plate. So it's really good to see Scott Kingery do that. And then when I said from Jake Arrieta, he allowed a couple home runs today. In the second and third inning, he allows one to Rosario and he allows one to Smith. And the Mets make it a 4-1 lead right there. And then, but Rhys Hoskins in the bottom of the fourth inning, he gets a big home run to make it 4-2 Mets. And it's really good to see Rhys Hoskins starting to get hot from a power perspective because the power totals just really haven't been there. And it's just that seeing Rhys Hoskins start to get hot from a power perspective, when he hits home runs, when he starts to get hot, he hits them in bunches. So maybe over the next course of games, we'll see Rhys Hoskins hit a couple more home runs because, like we said all season, Rhys Hoskins is a very hot and cold player. He'll go to an extreme high and then he'll go to an extreme low. And just really the home run totals haven't been there. This is only his 18th home run of the season. The average is fine. He's around like the 260 to 270 mark. We really don't expect him to be any higher than that. And the RBI totals are there. He's above 50 in the RBI totals. It's just the home runs aren't there. And hopefully, just over these next two stretches of games where he's finding the right timing and he's driving the ball out of the ballpark, he could start to get a little streak going on for himself right there and just get up that home run total a little bit, because that would be nice to see. And then, speaking of more home runs from the Phillies, Maikel Franco in the sixth inning, he comes up really clutch for the Phillies, like he did last night when he hit that 2-run bomb to give the Phillies a lead. He does the same exact thing in the sixth inning to give the Phillies a 6-5 lead. And it's really good to see Maikel Franco slot himself back into that eighth spot of the lineup and getting his timing back, because just over the past month and a half, he really hasn't been finding his timing. He really has been driving himself out of the lineup, like with Scott Kingery replacing him there at third base a little bit. And you also have Brad Miller, who sometimes is slotted in at third base. You really haven't seen Maikel Franco be consistent in the lineup for at least a good month right now. And with these past few games, it's really good to see that we possibly have Maikel Franco there more consistently over the next few couple games right now, because he's finding his timing right now, and when he finds his timing, he can really drive the ball out of the ballpark and can become a real threat in that eighth hole like he was in April. So it's really good to see Maikel Franco get that clutch home run, boost his confidence up a little bit, and probably get himself into the lineup for a couple more games in a row right here. And then we also have Brad Miller, who comes up pitch hitting for Jake Arrieta after Maikel Franco. He was the guy who brought the bamboo plant in. So what does he do on the 3-2 count? He hits a home run to give the Phillies a 7-5 lead, and he's getting the dugout all pumped up. He knew right out of the box it was gone. He's sticking his tongue out. He's shouting, "Let's go," to the dugout, getting the team pumped up. But then after that home run, Scott Kingery comes up the plate, and it is Ford on the mound for the New York Mets. He nearly clonks him on the head with a pitch. And Joe West, I understand he's a really respected umpire throughout the entire league, but he warns both sides, both dugouts. He warns the Phillies and the Mets dugout. Why is he warning the Phillies dugout? The Phillies had nothing to do with this at all, and the Phillies, like they did, they had a right to be upset at that call from Joe West. Why are the Phillies getting warned? And Gabe Kapler really took offense to it, as he is questioning to Joe West, why are we getting warned? Because our players haven't done anything. Your player nearly clonked my guy on the head. And you really should be ejecting that guy or just warning the Mets bench right there, because the Phillies had nothing to do with that. It's not the Phillies' fault that they rocked him for a couple home runs. And yeah, just Joe West, he sees Gabe Kapler come out. He doesn't want to hear any of it, and he ejects them immediately. And you see Gabe Kapler get furious again, like he did a couple of days ago against the Miami Marlins. It's just that this ejection is just so confusing to me. I understand with Joe West, he's the respected umpire throughout the entire league, but he is terrible. He's not good. And this was just a terrible call, just overall. Just warning both sides of the bench. Just this guy just nearly domed Scott Kingery on the head, and the Phillies are getting warned for it. There's literally no excuse to warn both sides, and it's understandable why the Phillies got so upset. Same thing with Gabe Kapler. There's really understandable why he got upset. There's really no reason for the Phillies to be warned on that side, because they didn't do anything. And Gabe Kapler, like, he was really furious. He thought it was absurd that his player was getting beamed at and we're getting warned for it. And like this is his second ejection in his MLB career in so few days. And it's really good because the fans are starting to get into it. They're starting to find their love for Gabe Kapler. They love what he's doing right now because he's standing up for his teammates. He's standing up for his players. He's standing up for Scott Kingery again, because this is the second time he got ejected with Scott Kingery at the plate, funny. And he's standing up for a guy that almost got domed on the head, basically. And the fans love it. The people on social media were starting to love Gabe Kapler even more. And this was the right thing for Gabe Kapler to do. It gets the guys fired up in the clubhouse. It gets the guys riled up. It gets the guys want to go out there and complete this ball game for their manager. And that's what the Phillies did tonight. They when they win this game. And it's just, I'm just really confused by that ejection. I'm confused by that call by Joe West. It's still boggling my mind right now because it was just so bad. I just don't get it. So, after that whole nonsense, that fiasco, the Phillies bullpen comes in and shuts the door down. You got Adam Morgan. He gets himself into a little jam, but he manages to get out of it. And then you got Juan Nicasio. He goes 2 1/3 innings. He gets himself into a little trouble to where Hector Neris has to come in in the top of the 8th inning to get the 4-out save. So He gets out of that jam and he comes into the ninth inning. He gets himself into a little trouble as well with a couple runners on, but he manages to close the door right then and there. And like I said, the Phillies win this ball game. It's feeling good right now with the clubhouse, and it's feeling good with this team overall right now because winning 2 games against your division opponents is hopefully spark something with this clubhouse because it looks like it's doing it right now. Same thing with the bamboo plant. It looks like it's giving this team confidence for some reason. I know I'm not superstitious at all, but hey, let them believe. Let them believe in the bamboo plant. The bamboo plant is the savior of this Phillies franchise right now. Bamboo plant. It's funny because it's just like superstitions are just like a little ridiculous, but let them believe. Like why be mad at it? Just let them believe in what they want to believe. It's fun and it's a good mentality to have. So it's good to see the Phillies starting to win these past 2 games, and with we're creeping up, not really creeping up. We're starting to gain some ground on the Atlanta Braves right now. I think from this game we were 5.5 out, so now we push to 5 games out with this win. But the last time I saw the Braves winning like 3-2 against the Cubs in like the 7th or the 6th inning, so we really won't find out their score for like maybe another half hour or another hour or so. So yeah, it's just good feeling all around, and maybe the Phillies can just put another good stretch of wins right here just to get back into the NL East race right now. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this game? What are you guys' thoughts on the ejection of Gabe Kapler and a call by Joe West? Because that was just absurd. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the game overall? What are you guys' thoughts on the Phillies just moving forward right now? So, don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, boys, and I will see you in the next one.